Stay connected to Larry Reid Live. Take a moment and like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube page, and hit the bell. Text Larry Reid Live to 33222. That's the words Larry Reid Live, no spaces, to 33222, and get notified when we go live. Become a member of Patreon today by logging on to patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. Download the Patreon app and turn on your notifications. Get connected today.
Today's date is February the 27th of 2021. My name is Larry D. Reid, and this is Larry Reid Live. But tonight, we are telling most of you never heard before stories about me and
Lisa.
Alisa Dunn.
Alisa Dunn.
Yeah, but I call Alisa. Now, if you've been following us for a long time, this platform for a long time, you do remember the days when she was on the show. We divorced on the show, and we told it on the show, and we shared all our business on the show. But the show has grown so much because I worked so darn hard after she left me, and I grew everything by thousands of %. And as a
Is this what this gonna be?
No, it's not. But as a result, a lot of you, I will say probably 100, probably about over 200,000 of you that have hit like on Facebook or subscribe on YouTube have not heard these stories at during all. And many of you, you're watching Reading Things My Way. And Reading Things My Way drops a new episode every single Saturday night. And tonight's episode, you're going to hear one story that we never shared at all on the platform, period. I don't even think we shared this when we was pastoring. No, it was
because,
all of the household knew.
right.
And then I forgot about it,
I
or
did
you
too.
or you would have known it. Go ahead, I had not forgot about it. You probably would have known it in the stories. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight, we're basically going to start, telling people what they do not know. But if you are a LRL day oneer, you already know. But I want everybody to be on the same page so that when you watch the show tonight, how can I watch the show tonight? Well, if you're in Patreon, you watch everything that the MBN network produces free. It comes with your membership. But if you're just out here on these streets and you just watch LRL whenever you want to, then you have to go to Vimeo.com/on-demand/RTMW. I always have to slow my brain down to get them letters.
Or you can go there and hit on demand and just search Reading Things My Way.
Okay, or that. Okay, so if you got that link, you can put it in and you can stream it. You can watch it on your TV, because Vimeo is an app. You can cast it to your TV and really enjoy. And we address, it's not just our life, but it's a lot to do with the lives of those that are around us, people who've been in our life for many years. So I'm ready to get started.
Yeah.
And this is another thing we're going to do. We're going to open up the lines after we talk about 15 or 20 minutes. We're going to allow you to call in and ask us a question, which we probably should not do.
Why?
I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, but we want people to go over there to reading things my way and watch, and then get into question and answer at the end of the season. But we'll let you guys do that tonight. Now let's go ahead and give them the number so they can go ahead and have the number written down. The number is 833-LRL Live. That's 833-LRL Live. Now you can call and go ahead and get in queue. But if you're going to do that, you need to put the visual of the show on mute and listen live through the phone, because the phone is in real time. What you're seeing streaming online is a little bit of probably a 9 or 10 second delay. So if you're going to call in, start listening to the show through the phone and just watching the visuals there. Okay, so I'm ready to go ahead and start sharing. But let me say thank you to the viewers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Each
Lisa,
and every one of you.
And Lisa wants to give y'all a hand. They're saying my volume is low. Me and Lisa volume is low. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing. Is that better? Talk, Lisa.
Testing 1, 2. Sound better.
Yeah, I'm getting more green on this thing. Well, turn your darn phone up. I'm not screaming. This ain't Larry Reid Live. When I get turned, well, I probably will end up screaming. So I might don't need to turn mine all the way open, because I'm gonna have y'all ears bleeding. All right. So
You want to start from the beginning?
Yeah, we can.
Okay. Reid and I started dating.
Oh,
We're going to go all the way
I
back.
don't know why this make me just feel a certain kind of way.
I think so. Anyway, Reid and I started dating when I was in the 6th grade and he was in the 7th grade.
Yeah.
But before all of that, I met Reid at Vacation Bible School.
We met each other.
Yes, because I knew his family. I was a fan, like a fanned out. I loved his mom's group, the Fleming Sisters.
The Fleming Sisters.
And so I was a huge fan of the Fleming Sisters. I sung all their songs. If you want me to come sing a solo at your church, I was going to sing one of their songs. Mm-hmm. So I knew his family, but I really didn't know him. So I went to Vacation Bible School at his church, his mom them church, and he was there.
Their church.
And we were in the same class. Because you know, Vacation Bible School, you be in different groups or whatever. And
who was the teacher? Was it Fred Preston?
no, it was a cousin Janice Faye.
Fred Preston took over that class, though. I remember that's the last time I went.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I couldn't understand nothing he was saying. I couldn't think.
But it was your cousin Janice, and Reid was so funny. I laughed and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed and I laughed. And so when I got home, my mama noticed that I kept talking about Larry. She was like, "What is this with you and Reid? What is you?" No, she didn't call him Larry. What is this you and Larry? I said, "Mama, I think She was like, "Oh,
Larry.
You like Larry." And she used to pick on me all the time. Larry and Lisa. Oh my God. So that's how that went. So when I finally went to high school, Reid was there. I was in the 6th grade. He was in the 7th grade. I wrote him a note. It was I used to do back in school. Mm-hmm. If you like me, check this block. If not, maybe yes, whatever. He checked. No, I don't know what you did. You did something foolish and ran off.
Yeah, I know I didn't just write that. But I remember coming out, Miss God, what was it? The old white woman. I remember coming. I want to say Flowers.
Miss Pate.
No, she worked. It was Flowers. Flowers in the front, papers in the back. And I went out the thing, and I remember looking and seeing you walk. You had on blue jeans and a black jacket, and because you was in the 6th grade building, and y'all were lower. I was my homeroom was higher, and I've been looking. I was like, all right. Because that's the kind of kid I was. I was over the top. Someone sent me a video of when I was about 8 years old, and I'm standing in the camera. I said, "Hi." I said, my name is Larry Reid, and we're here. And I'm like, I'm on Larry. I'm like, oh my Jesus, what? I've been like this my whole life. But anyway, and I remember seeing her and telling Tabitha. And I'm like, y'all know the girl from Eureka? She ride the Eureka bus. And she got the jerry curl. And her hair like real, yeah, the jerry curl. And her hair's real long. And that time they started going out of style, but Lisa kept hers. She said, hell, don't do a jerry curl. And so I'm not lying. And so there was white girls, and I like messing with white girls at the time. And they were like, yeah, I remember she's quiet. And so that really what started her catching my eye. I first saw her at Vacation Bible School, but in that way of, and back then, all guys know what I'm talking about. At that age, the girl was your friend.
Right.
You know, and Lisa could play basketball. She knew my friends, her friend Terrell, which we were roommates together when I was in college at Chili Hall in North Carolina Central University in Durham. So she was cool. And so we started out as friends. This is really interesting. I didn't plan for this to go this way. But I'm remembering now, wait a minute.
What's happening? Reid, come on, keep going.
I'm going down memory lane. I know I've been thinking. No, Lisa was my first friend.
I was?
I just thought of that. You were. You were my first friend because you knew me. Everybody else knew me at school.
Right.
I was loud, funny, you know, cutting up. I got in trouble a lot. I was always in school suspension. You know, the loudest one in the hall. But she knew my mama, my Aunt Cap, my mom and her sister that I was a church boy. She knew me.
Right.
And so talking to her was different than talking to all the rest of the girls. So, because she knew where I came from.
Right.
And that is true.
Yeah.
You know, Marco told me that one time.
What?
Because it just come to my mind. He said, well, Lisa was like your first friend because I met Lisa through you. And he remember when we went. In fact, I said, this guy Marco wanted to go out to eat with us and meet you and stuff. And we went. That's when I first sat down with him.
That was a military
We were
ball.
together. Mm-hmm.
Military
Yeah,
ball.
so, yeah, that's true. Lisa was my first friend. And I think that's our greatest bond.
Yeah, friendship.
Even when we were divorced and even when we was fighting during the divorce. I don't know if you wanted to talk about that. Well,
We're trying to go in chronological order.
Okay. So 6th grade, we started going together, and
all the way up, and we were on and off all the way through high school.
Yep.
And Reid started preaching in the 12th grade or the 11th grade. It was 12th grade.
I got saved in the 9th, I think it was, and then I started preaching. Because most of my high school friends were there. So it was the 10th or the 11th. No, the 11th.
11th grade.
The 11th grade.
All
I
right.
started preaching.
You started
17.
preaching in the 11th grade. Yeah. It was packed.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you went off to college. And I think we still kept in communication.
Even when I was with somebody else, we kept on.
Right. We kind of broke it off, and then I got involved with this old man. That was the worst. That was the worst experience ever.
I couldn't believe that you was in that.
Okay, but anyway, so my fractures come in at. But I know people was like, how can Lisa? You know, she said she had good parents. I was molested also when I was little.
That was our bond too. We told each other about that.
And so my molestation caused me to reach out to just people that I guess were no good and always took advantage of me. And I met this guy that was in my brother's group. He was 28. I think I was, I want to say 17, 16, something like that. And my mama knew. Because he had a nerve to come to my house. This is what made me back off from him, because he had a nerve to come to my house during Christmas time and told my mama that he was 18.
Yeah.
And my mom, when he left, she said, I know that boy ain't no 18. He said, he could tell me all he want. He was like, I said, Mom, that's what he said. She said, I don't care what he said. He is not 18. And so after that, I tried to cut it off with him. And when I tried to cut it off, he would call me all types of names, say I was a whore, all these type things, try to play mind games.
He's a bad guy.
Yeah, very bad. And so after that, I just started doing myself. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go into the Army. And I told Reid I was going into the Army. But at that time, Reid was shopping for wives.
Wait.
You was. Were you not?
I wasn't dating any of them no more.
No. This was before that. This was before you told me.
I was probably going with them then.
Yeah.
But I broke up with everybody.
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
Yes. And then I told you, well, I'm going to the military.
I remember.
Yes.
But I broke up with everybody and was just friends with everybody. And I was sort of wondering who was the wife. Because I had this thing in my head of, because you grow up in a country sound these preachers, the epitome of success is being a preacher, being good at that, having a wife and kids.
Right.
And by this time, Lisa was saved. We skipping a lot.
We need to skip a lot.
But by this time, Lisa was saved, and I was saved, and I would see her at church, and I know she was, praising God. I was praising God. So I had this vision of two powerful preachers,
right,
doing ministry. So the other girl I was dating, she was a preacher,
right.
And then the other two, they were very, the other one was like
a preacher
too, and then the other one could sing real good, and was one of my singers. And I was shopping, and my mama knew it.
Right.
She knew all about it.
And so before I left, I said, well, I know I'm your wife, so I don't care. Or something I said.
Mm-hmm.
I said it on the phone. So I hung up the phone, I left, and I went to basic training. And I would read letters, so many letters. He never wrote me back.
But I read them though.
And this is how close me and Reid was. I remember if I couldn't get my parents, I would call his mama. Mm-hmm. And when it was time for us to call home, I would call his mom or whatever, and we would just talk, because his mom used to do my hair. And so we were very close.
Shout out to Ethelene, my mom, and to Daryl Reid, my father.
And so so that was that. Then I went to AIT. When I went to AIT, that's when Reid started coming to, you came to Virginia.
Virginia, I started coming.
And that's when some things would start unfolding.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like, let me just clear myself.
Please.
I just felt like I needed, before we tell this situation, 'cause I know you're going to tell it. You always tell that situation. I felt like I needed to keep up a persona that I had it all together.
Okay.
So that's why I came up with that,
I accept that.
You know what I'm saying? Because I always...
But Paul, side note.
Yeah.
I just had this conversation with somebody the other day. The people right around me always feel like they have to keep up, even my children, and can't just be vulnerable when I don't really care about too much. I just want to know what the truth is.
I know that now, but I ain't know that then.
Okay.
I know that now, but back then, and y'all gonna understand why when we get going through this story. Okay, so just bear with us here, trying to set the foundation. Okay. So Reid was coming to Virginia, whatever, and then in the military they had what you call Christmas exodus. So I rode the train home during Christmas time, and I thought my godmother was gonna be picking me up. But lo and behold, it was Reid that picked me up from the thing. And I was like, okay, what is happening? So he was surprised, man. I didn't know, so long story short, we had went to a jewelry store, and he was like, we were picking out, he wanted me to pick out rings that I like or whatever. And the ring that I picked out, the one that I like, I didn't know Reid had already had the ring. So he was like, you like that ring right there? I was like, yes. And so he pulled the ring out of his pocket and said, will you marry me? Oh, it was so sweet. So, of course, I said yes. In the back of my mind, I'm thinking about the parents that I have. I was like, okay, I'm saying yes, so I don't know, if it's gonna be a for sure yes, because I gotta talk to my parents. So when I went home, he told my daddy. My daddy was happy. My mama was not. Because I think my mom really just want to be a part of the process. And you know, when we went to Ruby Tuesday, she said that. She said, I didn't really mind. It's just that you're my daughter, and I really just want to, because I had really cut my mom off one time. And so, and it had something to do with when I was watching Oprah. You remember when Oprah was talking about all that molestation stuff at that time? And I looked back at my mom. I said, Mom, you remember that happened to me? She said, that ain't happened to you. What are you talking about? You talking foolish. And when she said that, it was like, whew, and I was done with her. But thank God that Miss Rita was there, because I went to, it's like I had somebody, but then now I feel now that I really needed my mama.
Yeah, that's who you needed. Because I think when you were getting like mentorship from like Eleanor, Rita Ann.
Yeah.
And what did somebody else?
It was them two.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But
if we knew what we knew now,
right,
would have just.
Because the reason why I feel so sad about my mom's death is because I feel like I didn't get what I needed to get from her. And it's just, my mom was so wise. Like, she was so wise. But I took it as she just was coming at me all the time, and I couldn't receive it. But I should have just took it. Because I act just like her. I talk just like her. But anyway, getting off subject.
Just like her.
But anyway, so with that, we got engaged. And so Reid was continuing to come up to Virginia, whatever. And then when I graduated, you were the one that brought me back home to get my stuff. And Reid actually was planning the wedding. He was planning we was going to get married.
It was Miss Diggs.
Oh, yeah, Miss Diggs.
I was pegging.
I loved her.
Yeah, I was paying for it.
I wonder where she at. That was my English teacher.
Yeah, she was planning everything. I was just giving the money to cover it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I came home because I was supposed to go to my next duty station. And Reid was like, one day, it was just out of the blue. He was like, let's just go get married. I said, what? You serious?
I wanted the world.
He was like, let's go get married.
But I was saying, we couldn't do it without that marriage. I wanted to rock. Hallelujah. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
That's all you want to do. Yes. Anyway, he had a friend that was a pastor, so we went to their house. We went into the courthouse and got the paperwork, and his friend married us at the house. So you can say me and Reid eloped.
Yeah.
So
Tina signed, my best friend in high school. We still best friends today. Tina signed the thing.
So after that, the story I heard about the pastor study, we went and did that.
We did it every chance we got.
I am so sorry, Upper Room. I didn't want to do it.
She ain't the one, never her. It will always be.
I was like, are you serious? No.
Oh, Lord.
Anyway, but this is a funny thing. So after we did all that, and I came home, and I told my daddy, I said, Dad, me and Reid got married. He said, what? Then, after his shock, he said, well, I said, you gonna tell Mama for me? He was like, nope. So on our wedding night, I had to stay at my parents, because my mama was asleep. And it was a forbidden, you don't wake her up from her sleep. You got So I had to stay at home to the next morning to tell my mama that I was married. And when I did, it was, whew.
But did I tell your daddy before you told your mama? I remember talking to him in the yard at my mama's house.
I just know you came back to the house and we told him.
But see, I talked to him more than once.
Oh.
And because no, Lisa. I asked him before.
I ain't talking about asking you to marry me. I'm talking about
the actual marriage.
I
had already asked him. Prior to all of that, we had already had that conversation.
That's why he wasn't that shocked.
Right. I had already had that conversation with him. But see, me and your daddy were taught separate from
I ain't know that.
you and your mom.
I know that, yeah. And so my mom, she was going off. She was like, Lisa, I can't believe you did that. You know, I just don't understand. I don't understand. So I think my mom was hurt by it all. And so when Reid pulled up in the yard, I was like, well, I'm going. Bye. So I jumped in the car, and then that's when we started our life.
And it was, we had it hard.
It was
now that I
us
think
against
about
the
it.
world.
Yeah, because
like,
it was like everybody, I don't know why everybody was in disagreement with us getting married, but everybody liked us being together. But then when we got married, it's like everybody like, no, you shouldn't have got married. I don't know what that was about.
I think it was because we were young.
We were. I was 19,
18.
you were 18.
You were 19. I think it was because we were so young. And, you know, I went from my daddy's house to with you.
That's true.
So I had not been on my own. And you can't call the basic trainer on my own because I was with drill sergeants and people telling me what to do. So I wasn't really on my own. And so we was stationed at Fort Bragg. And we got married in 1998. I mean, and we stayed married until 2007.
Yep.
Stayed married to 2000. And within that, it was, what was the first church?
Well, first batch was Upper Room. That was it. When we got married, I was pastor. I
don't count that.
Yeah, you just come visit. But the one we started together was Breakthrough, but we changed the second and third names
I
of a
want
few
to say
times.
the name, Spiritual Breakthrough Worldwide Ministries.
No, that was just, it was Spiritual Breakthrough, right? And then we went to just Breakthrough Temple Pentecostal Holiness Church. No, Breakthrough Temple Apostolic Holiness Church.
Yes.
Then Breakthrough Temple Pentecostal Holiness Church. And then we end up going to the Breakthrough Church.
Right.
Yeah. And then we changed it to My Breakthrough Now, which is the MBN Network now, which sponsors this program.
Right.
'Cause we went online. We went into the network. Yeah.
All right. So our friendship, when the church began, I think that's when our friendship ended.
But it was the same way to every relationship in my life.
Yes. So, cause I grew up Baptist. I was a true heart Baptist.
Yeah. Original free will.
So the stuff that Reid was doing, I kind of understood it because my daddy was a free person. I guess I put it that way. He was very
free.
spiritual.
Yeah.
And whatever God said, he did it. So I've been woke up 12 o'clock in the middle of the night. My daddy waking all of us up. Come on, we got to pray. Opening up the door, sending spirits out the door. I remember all of that growing up. So I kind of understood where Reid was coming from, but I didn't understand his meanness. My daddy wasn't mean. So Reid would be like, he would be just have this aura about him that, don't mess with him. Yeah. And it never came down. So that's when I was like, okay, this is not what I signed up for. Yeah. Like,
I was emotionally absent.
Yes.
And not warm. Yeah.
But powerful.
I mean, that's the old God thing. Because, see, church became my everything. I felt like long as I was taking care of you, being faithful, making you feel good physically, and then I don't have nothing else to, I mean, I got to build this church.
Right.
I got to do ministry. I got to do drug addicts and all. It was a lot for a teenager.
Yes. And that's now I'm thinking back on it. We were children.
We were doing grown up stuff.
I am 18, 19 years old putting a prayer cap on a grown person coming into church. Because we wore head coverings.
We wore head coverings.
When we first started. So and I look back on some of the pictures.
We didn't come out of head coverings until 2000 and...
When I went to Kuwait, 2003.
2003.
2003. And I was fussing. I said, y'all go to hell.
Women were wearing pants and
I
everything.
was over in Kuwait. You can ask Sydney. I was over in Kuwait wearing long dresses and head coverings.
Yeah.
In Kuwait.
Yeah.
Stay true to my faith.
Yeah. That's what we were doing. And then in my what you're gonna find out in the next show that the MBN Network is doing, which is a documentary on me. You're gonna go back home. You're gonna get to follow me back home. Actually, you'll be with me in Shamako because some places, some stuff I be forgot because that part of my brain just totally got rid of it. So I can go back to some of them places I know it's gonna be emotional for me. I know it is gonna be terribly healing and bring some things full circle. But because of what had happened to me, my molestation, then later on the rape, and how I was done. Somebody said something. I used to always say, and I said this on the show, and I'm gonna say this tonight because I always say, they say, well, he up there doing what he doing because he was hurt in the church. I'm like, I ain't been hurt in the church. I have been hurt in the church. I probably do not hold it against the church. It's the people.
Right.
I don't look at it as the church hurt me. It was some bad folk. Some of them maybe meant good. I don't know. But it was some bad people. But that never caused me to not honor. I always honored leadership. I always did proper by leadership, except when I had a prophet and had come down the aisle rebuking them. But I always loved the church. I still love the church today. But because of those things, it caused me I felt like I had to go all the way into God and stay in that realm, and it caused me to be cold and callous, not as warm as I needed to be. And then me being an Aquarius as well, so it really did not help. Because Aquarius is what we tend to do. We put our arms around the whole world. We are such a humanitarian, but those right around us feel like we're absent from them, and we're trying to save the world and losing people around us. So I had all these things that were working against me that I had to do real prayer, meditation, therapy to work through it and change. Who y'all see sitting here, even when it comes to Lisa, that is not who we were. It took work.
A lot of work. A lot. But you're gonna hear it. All right, so now we got married. Okay, we're
doing the church thing now.
Doing the church thing. Full blast in it.
You raped me one day, we end up with a baby.
What?
You raped me one day, we end up with a baby.
You skipped a whole lot of stuff. You want to go through? Okay.
Yeah, because what's in there? Ain't that really? Because that's like all the stuff was after babies.
But before I had Exari, I had an experience.
Oh yeah, tell that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So things were going well, I think. Not. This was in 2000. I want to say 2001.
Okay.
Was it 2001?
I don't know what part of the marriage you're talking about.
I'm talking about when we was at Butternut.
2001.
Okay. In 2001,
yeah, things were better.
But I was still seeking validation.
Yeah.
I want to say.
From my standpoint, it was like I won't giving you enough attention. I was giving you more attention than I ever have, but it didn't seem like it was enough. But that's from my end. It didn't seem like it was enough.
And so what happened was, that's when we were real good friends with. I don't think she cared about me saying her name. It was Tanisha them.
Yeah.
And you were always talking to them and all that kind of stuff. And so I think you were on the computer, and I was like, Reid such and such, and you wouldn't pay me no attention.
Oh, I remember this.
And I said, why won't he pay me any mind? I'm trying to help y'all women now. Why won't he pay me any attention? So I went in my room. I said, I'm going to get his attention. I went in my room, and I looked at the Excedrin bottle, and it said, do not exceed 6. So I took 6.
I guess we shouldn't laugh about that.
I can laugh now, but then I was so drunk with, oh, woe is me. I need his attention. And I don't even know what I wanted attention for now at this point. But, I was like, I need his attention. So I I didn't exceed 6. And then I said, Reid, I said, I took pills and I think I need to go to the emergency room. And he was like, you don't need to go to the emergency room. No, you stop what you was doing. You looked at me. And you said, we're not calling no ambulance because something about you don't want the neighbors and all this kind of stuff. So he told Mako and Latrice to take me to the emergency room. So when I got there, the nurse, they called me back. Latrice was in the room with me. And they called me back to the back. And the woman was like, okay, so you took such and such, whatever. Latrice, I think she went out. And when the lady went out, she asked me, she said, did you try to kill yourself? And I said, yes. And she said, okay. And then when Latrice came back in, she said, let me get this straight. You said you tried to kill yourself? I said, no, I didn't say that. And she was like, I said, no, I did. Because Latrice was in there. I didn't want her to know that I had said that. So they took me back to a room. Now, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to put me in my own room, and Reid is going to come. He's going to show me this attention, and everything's going to be all right. No, honey.
But I'm on the phone with her daddy, and I'm saying, I know Lisa is not trying to kill herself. She just want my attention. She's almost like she's trying to control me. Y'all know I'm like about trying to tell me what to do. And I said, I don't understand what more I can do. And he was like, well, your daddy was like,
don't mar my daddy's legacy.
I'm not going to mar his legacy.
Because I want to know what he said.
But I've already told you what he said. He was basically like,
he always took your side.
But he was basically like, don't be worried about that. She'll be all right. She just, it's just appears she'll be all right. And then when I went up there, because eventually they put you in.
I want to tell that part.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I'm thinking they're going to put me in a room, a luxury hotel, hospital room, all that kind of stuff. They came with that stretcher. They said, we about to transfer you to the psych ward at Fort Bragg. I said, what? I'm going where? They said, we're going to take you to the psych ward at Fort Bragg. So I'm on this hospital ride, everything like that. They took me to the room. I had a roommate that was really, she was talking to herself and everything.
Our children are watching. I don't know how they're watching.
Oh, they're on their computer.
Oh, okay.
And so I didn't sleep that night. I kept myself up because I was scared the person was going to do something. And then I heard my bed got hot. And the Lord spoke to me and he said, you want to know crazy? I'm going to show you crazy.
I remember you telling this story. I forgot all about it.
He lifted his grace, I say his hand, but I got people probably don't. He lifted his hand off me them 2 seconds seemed like eternity. He lifted his hand and I saw the walls crawling, the floor was crawling, everything was crawling around me. And then he put his hand back on my head and he said, you're not crazy. And I said, okay. After that, I did whatever they told me to do in the facility. If we had to knit, I knitted. If we had to paint, I painted. Whatever they wanted me to do, I participated in group therapy.
Oh, my
and
God.
I did all of that and still try to act like I didn't know why I was in there. So they said, okay, we're going to have a meeting. This is your meeting. Why are you here? I said, because I tried to kill myself. They said, okay, we'll come back. I said, hold, wait a minute, what you mean? They said, until you figure out why you are here, we're going to keep you here. So they told me I had to stay like a district. I thought I was going to get released that weekend.
And
we had a revival, all this kind of stuff. I said, we got revival. I got to get out of here. What are you talking about? She was like, my name was Dunn Reid in the Army. Dunn Reid, nope, you're going to stay 3 more days, and then after those days, we're going to have another meeting. So the next time we had a meeting, I said, it's because I wanted attention from my husband. And because I couldn't get it, I did X, Y, Z. And they said, okay, you're free to go. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
I can look back on that now. And then when I got released from there, I say, you know what? This is not worth it. I am not going to go. I promise myself that I will never get to that point where I had to have somebody to make me happy. I had to have this. I had to have that. So from that point, 2001 until then, I've never been back to that place.
You never went back to. You were totally different after that. I mean, you still had struggles like I did too.
Yes.
But let me say this and I hope all the women I listen to her about, loving and stuff, all that kind of stuff. But from the husband standpoint at the time, I was so wrapped up and tied up in what I had going on. I wasn't even really understanding what was happening. I began to see her and what she was going through as a distraction from the devil. So here I had to love her as a husband at the same time. I'm like, you messing up what I'm trying to do. You messing up my
and
goals.
I felt that.
Yeah. it
was so, I
felt
it
like
was
you
a bad
messing
feeling.
everything up. So then it got to a point to where in my mind, I'm like, well, I need a replacement, And I had people in my ear, though. I had people that I trusted that was much older than me. I'm not saying their name, who were in my ear saying, you will be this and your church could be this if you just had, you done all this on your own, if you just had a wife and that would that. So I started getting all these conversations and prophecies and dreams. So ultimately what ended up happening is that we separated. And that was in 2007.
After Zoe.
And right after Zoe. And now what the show gonna tell you tonight is it's gonna be a story while she was carrying Zoe that you're not gonna be able to believe. You have to go to vimeo.com/on-demand/RTMW to watch that tonight. But let's skip over that and give them some more backdrop. So by this time, in 2007, there were some things that happened. Some things that you went through, some things that I went through because we separated thinking we just need a little space of time,
right? And
we'll come back together. And mind you, we had already done this before for 13 days. One time she left. And at that time, it was what I needed because it put me in a certain gear of survival. A lot of what you see today, I had before I started pastoring. Pastoring took a street grind, survivor thing out of me. Because if you remember, because what I was going through in my family, I was living in my car.
Right.
And so all of you out there that look at me wearing Gucci, Versace, Fendi, and Dolce & Gabbana, and whatever the other words that I can't, and y'all be like, nah, if I have a story that will make your head spin, and you're gonna hear about it, and it's almost like a documentary on my life. Some of the stuff I allude to in reading things my way. Go watch all 11 episodes tonight. The new episode is gonna drop, but I didn't have anything to eat. Lisa would feed me, send me money while I was in college. I had a scholarship, but the way it was set up, the academic scholarship I had at North Carolina Central that I left and then went into Wayne Community College, trying to finish it out, and God spoke to me and said, no, you must go into seminary. And I went into seminary. I say seminary, but it's really Bible college. Mm-hmm. And you remember you were working at Shoney's and you would take your tip and wrap them up in notebook paper and put them in an envelope and send it to me so that I could eat. Because the way the scholarship was, you had your last meal was like 4 o'clock. I'm like, 4 o'clock? I got to eat 2 more times before I go to bed. So I'll be hungry a whole lot. But anyway, what ended up happening, I remember we separated and we said, okay, we're going to get back together. And before you can move back into the house, it was like I made a mistake. Because see, anytime me and Lisa, like, to keep it 100, if I had not matured and grown up, there's no way me and you could be in the same house raising our children because of how I was. I mean, there's just a certain way of being. I'm supposed to be inappropriate with Lisa. I'm supposed to be hitting her on her butt. I'm supposed to be doing all kind of inappropriate things, and we messing around. And then next thing I know, I'm ready to get married because I'm in this mode. And then a project hit the table, my mind over here.
Right.
Or I just go into a different gear, and my focus is here. And then she's left to herself, So I had to be mature enough even for us to live in the same house. And I'm pretty sure you can tell a difference because I would normally move a certain kind of way. I mean, I still honor you and buy you stuff and treat you nice. I always have, and I always will, But I had to grow up. So when we first separated, I start talking with her, I naturally go back into a certain mode. So it was like months later, I'm talking, let's get back together. Then I woke up and the next day, I'm like, oh, no. We don't.
It was a roller coaster of emotions.
It was, no, we don't need to get back together.
To say the least.
Yeah.
But during that time, though, I started on a journey. And what got me off the journey, I believe, was when I found out that you was talking to somebody else. Because at first, I would get up on Sunday morning, because I wasn't going to the church. When I would get up on Sunday morning, I would listen to Joyce Meyer, do my praying, all that kind of stuff. I was just to myself, really. And so then someone was like, well, you should come visit my church. I would always say no. But when I got wind, I said, you know what? Let me just do my life. And when I did that, instead of staying on the journey that I should have stayed on, that's when things started to take a turn for me. Kind of like this last time too. I just really was like, let me just do my own thing. So when I did that, I joined a ministry. And it felt like our church, so I was game for it. I was like, okay.
Which I still didn't understand. How it gonna feel like our church?
They did praise and worship. They had good music. It was great.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so I was like, great, this is cool. And I was just into that. And so as time went along, though, I guess it got out that me and you wasn't together or whatever. And so this certain person inboxed me on Facebook. And I thought I knew them.
But see, that's the downside because I didn't share everything with you. This person I knew from our apostolic, but I come out of United Churches of Jesus Christ Apostolic. I originate out of Disciples of Christ, Church of Christ. But then I went into the United Churches of Jesus Christ Apostolic, which basically is an off-break of this, an off-break of that go all the way back to PAW or either Cool JC, because them like the main two apostolic, but then they broke off 159,000 times over women preachers, over baptism and all that kind of stuff. So they were out of that body. Oh. And they knew everything about me. Because that's Shamako father was our pastor at the time, and he was in that organization. I was named as an elder in United Churches of Jesus Christ Apostolic. That's when I first started holding my first spiritual warfare class and prophecy class in that denomination, and became assistant pastor in that denomination. And that was strategic. So he had already knew who you were and knew who I was. And see, some dudes are like this, Some dudes, because I was like the in the United Church of Jesus, I was new, I was young, and I was popping, I was a new talk, and so it was like, and some dudes are like this to compete with you.
Right.
That's what I think it was, or to sort of be you but not be you.
I want to tell you, it was weird. Yeah. I'm gonna tell you why. So I find out that they know you, and it was like, well, let's just meet, whatever. So I was like, okay, whatever. So first of all, when I seen them, I said, what are you wearing? jeans. I thought that was like out of jeans and church shoes, and I was like, okay, whatever. So I think we went to, I want to say, it's that place right in Fayetteville. I can't think of the name. I can't think of the name of the place right now, but it was a restaurant. I want to say it was Ruby Tuesday, but I'm not for sure. So we went there. Of course, they on the phone. You know how preachers are. Yeah, doc, whatever, doc. On the phone the whole time. And I'm like, okay. And I went to the bathroom because there was another, I told you about the other preacher, the old preacher.
Oh, yeah, those nasty man.
There was another preacher that was trying to get with me.
He was married, one.
No, his wife had died.
But the guy was married.
The guy that I was talking to was married. Yes, and then they gave me the sob story right up front. You know, that's how they do. You know, they cheated on them. They don't want to be with them. But for me, I'm just gonna be honest. To me, it was supposed to have been. It's gonna sound bad, but for me, it was supposed to have been a one-night stand for me, because I knew he wasn't my type. Okay, that was for me. So now, here I am. This person is calling me all the time. All the time, coming from where they are to where I am all the time. And I'm like, you know, and they're telling me that they're gonna leave their wife. And then one time they said, when they go back to their place of living, that they were gonna come back here, because they didn't live in the country. When they come back here, they were gonna tell everybody that she was dead, so he could marry me. It was a whole lot of mind games. Like, and I'm like, okay. And he was like, I know you can take my ministry to the next level, all these kind of things. But all the while, this is why it was so weird for me. Every time we would sleep together, he would always say, you're gonna go back to Reid, you're gonna leave me, and I'm gonna be by myself. Nigga, why you keep bringing up Reid? And I'm saying I'm not with Reid. What are you talking about? And you had already went on. You was with y'all. You was going strong in the ministry stuff. I wasn't even thinking about that. I was like, I'm trying to move on. And so it was just and he would ask me to meet him places. But the last time that I met up at a place that he told me to meet, his wife was there.
It was a church service.
A church service.
Didn't he have you sit right beside her?
Reid, I'm about to tell it.
Oh my God, this is juicy.
I came to the church, and when I got there, you know how you go in, you want to see you go to the bathroom, you want to see what you look like, whatever. And by y'all, we were divorced. Yeah. We went together, divorced. So
I was engaged.
Yeah, you were engaged, and I was in the streets. So we were in the pews. I was in the pews. In the pews. And so I went to the bathroom. You know how you do fix it. She was in there. She had just finished doing praise and worship. Oh God. She was in there wringing her hair out. She got beautiful hair, wringing her hair out. And she turned to me. She said, "Oh, I love what you have on." And I choked up. I was like, honey, if you don't know who I was, I knew who she was, but she didn't know who I was. Mm-hmm. So I went in the bathroom and tried to squeeze out some pee. Because I didn't have to use the bathroom. I was just trying to fix myself up. So she went in. I think I had on that green suit.
Oh, I remember that. We won't dress in. By that time, we were out dressing everybody in North Carolina.
I had on that green, fluffy, whatever suit it was. And so I sat behind her. She was 2 rows in front of me. I was sitting right. And then when she picked up the little baby, I said, you know what, Lisa, this is wrong. And so for him not to see, he told me after church, because one of his friends was preaching. And he told me after church the reason why he moved on the other side, because he didn't want his wife seeing that he was looking at me instead of looking at her. So after church, this is the first time I've seen the preacher that preached. He was drunk as ever. I mean, he was drunk, cussing, he was like, why are you leading this girl on? You know you're not going to leave your wife because you know you can't take over no churches. If you get married again, you can only have one wife, and you lying. You string her along. And he was like, no, I love her, and all this kind of stuff. Whatever. So, long story short, I started feeling funny, and I found out I was pregnant.
But the part she leaving out is about 2 months prior to
you
that.
had
She
a
was
dream.
going through something. You called me.
Oh.
And I was in the movie theater. And you asked me, you basically were like, what is God saying? Or what I supposed to do? And so I told her this. I said, the Lord is showing me the month of July, and it's circled in red. I said, if you don't get out this situation, I didn't even know that she was in this relationship with this dude. I was thinking about the ministry. I said, if you don't get out by this month, you are going to have something that you cannot easily get rid of. You're going to need to end it by this date. Well, she didn't do it. And in the middle of July, that's when all of that stuff happened. Now, when you end up telling me, were you still pregnant or you already had abortion?
I was still pregnant.
Yeah. So what ended up happening, though, because we were still friends. So I'm with this other lady, and who I still love to this day, great woman. She's an older woman. She's the pastor.
I love her too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They end up being friends. But what ended up happening was I kept feeling Lisa in my spirit. So I kept getting drawn away from her, trying to call Lisa and trying to find out what's going on. I didn't know that she was calling Marco. I'm like, oh, Lord, it's 8 o'clock, time to do the prayer.
Oh, no. You going to pray right now online?
It's in tongues.
Do it.
On the air?
Well, what you going to do? You going to stop the show and come back?
Oh, my God.
Or mute?
It's the 8 o'clock hour. As long as I end before the 8 o'clock hour, that should be okay, right?
I think you should go to a commercial for 8 minutes.
Go to a commercial for 8 minutes?
No, go ahead. Go
Is
ahead.
there something to play for 8 minutes?
No, go ahead. Just keep talking.
We praying in tongues at 8 o'clock, so I'm going to have to... Someone said, let's play in tongues while we watch.
Do it right now.
No, but it's for 8 minutes.
8 minutes not a long time.
Oh, yeah. I'm not going to do that. Somebody said, do it. Pray here.
They told me I could take over. I'm supposed to pray too.
Yeah, we always, it's the whole MBN network thing. So, but we pray in the 8 o'clock hour. Longest I am out, at least I have 8 more minutes left in this hour, I should be good. Let me finish. Somebody said, I'm trying to pray. Okay, oh, well, we can pray a little bit. That's what we can do. We'll pray a little bit. This is not the platform for that.
I mean, but you got to keep your covenant too.
I got to keep my covenant. So I'm just going to pray just for a little bit. We're going to pray just for a little bit. Now, everybody who is not paper Bible saved, and you might need to want to sign off because this may get weird for you. But then we're going to come back and is there a way you can put, where's the prayer thing? Is there a way you can put something up while we do the prayer?
Marco said no.
Marco said no. I'm thinking we should. I'm gonna keep my covenant, but I can do it a little bit later.
Okay.
Versus doing it here because it's not the platform for
All
that.
right, don't do it.
Okay. All right. So anyway, we gotta go fast. 'Cause I gotta be done. I got 8 more minutes left in this hour. So everybody that is watching me and you're doing an 8 o'clock covenant, let's just wait till after we go off live. In fact, we can pray at the end together. Maybe. Is that good? Yeah. Maybe we'll do that. All right. Somebody says, people need prayer. Let me dust off my what's the name. I'm looking at YouTube. I don't know what they're saying in Facebook. Everybody's saying pray. Right. I agree it's not the platform. So I'm going to do it with my subscribers. So long story short, she gets pregnant. I'm calling. I know something going on with her. The woman I'm engaged to at the time is talking to Shamarco. His attention is on her. His attention on her. And I'm like, no, not attention on you. But I'm not even paying. Men aren't emotionally smart. And I didn't even realize that I was getting so drawn into what was going on with Lisa. I can't believe it's not like her to make these decisions. What is going on? And I'm in a whole nother relationship. Long story short, he ended up convincing her to have an abortion. But I called with a dream prior to that. No, it was after.
He didn't convince me.
Oh, he didn't convince you? Okay.
When I found out I was pregnant, I told the Lord, I'm not having his baby. And I said that because I thought about all the stuff that I went through, and I just didn't want to be connected to him anymore. And I knew that if I had that baby, it was going to be a lot of back and forth, and I didn't want that. And I just didn't want to have his baby, period. And I talked to my friend at the time, and she was like, Lisa, don't do this, because he said he'll pay half, and I said I'll pay the other half. She was like, take that money and don't do it. I was like, I have to do it. It's just something that I just feel like I'm not supposed to have this baby. And so I went to the clinic by myself. They called and made sure I was at the clinic. I was like, yeah, I am. By myself, went and got the stuff. And they still, it was a lot. So after that,
And I was against it because I had a dream of, I was with her father. I was in the vestibule of a church. And Lisa came through the door with the baby that I took out of her hands and I put on my chest. This baby was the ugliest baby I had ever seen in my entire life. You talking about ugly. But I was rubbing the baby, and as I rubbed the baby, I was trying to change how the baby looked. And it was very, very, very dark skin. And her father said, y'all come here. And he called us to the double doors of the church. And he said, I don't care that y'all not married or not. He said, y'all stay there for each other. And it was a baby. Now, I took that, once I found out she was pregnant, because it was before she had abortion, I was trying to let her know, maybe you shouldn't abort this baby. And plus the way that I believed at the time, it's murder, don't do that, but it's a decision. I'm not pro-abortion, but I do believe it is a woman's decision. And so she had the abortion. She hated that she had the abortion.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it was a whole lot of repercussions.
Let me tell you, it is, I'm able to say it now because I got peace with God. I got peace with myself about it. I wasn't brought up, my mama told me I was a murderer to my face when I told her. That's how I was brought up. I was brought up strictly Bible way.
Both of us. And
so, of course, I struggled in my decision, especially when I was I bled so much, and I had to pray against all the doors that were open because of what I did. As the blood was coming out, I was hearing voices, baby blood. It is a whole experience that if you're not strong, you can't. I didn't know I was that strong, but I knew that having the baby was going to be more it was going to be more repercussions than not. And when I went to the clinic, they do an ultrasound or whatever. I took the pregnancy test and said I was pregnant, but then they do an ultrasound before they do whatever they're going to do. They couldn't even see the baby. But they said because, they say you must be so early, we can't even detect the baby. Mm-hmm. But we noticed you're pregnant because of the pregnancy test. So I thank God, because I think if I would have seen something on the screen, I probably wouldn't have went through with it. But There was nothing on the screen. They couldn't find anything, but they knew it was there. They just said it was too early.
So for me, on my end, what was happening, I felt so... I remember my feeling in the car, because we sat in the car. You said, there's something I got to tell you, and I got in the car, she was in the driver's seat. And this when she told me she was pregnant and what happened and who the person was and everything. And I remember her saying, it reminded me of a conversation with Vincent. She was like, and I was like, Lisa, you be all right or something. She was like, you don't look at me as that. And I said, no. And I remember you crying. Mm-hmm. I said, no, I don't look at you like that. It was like, but I remember I felt so bad for you. I felt real bad.
I felt bad because I knew that wasn't a choice that I normally would not have made. And I felt bad because I was like, he really would, maybe, I don't understand the motive behind it, but I knew I wasn't the only person.
No, you won't.
So then they started asking, then their behind the scenes people started asking me things. And that's why I said what I said about, it always fall back on the woman, but the man is the one that's seeking to and fro. It's
like
not
the devil.
It's
who
not
made
the
the vow.
woman that's doing that. The woman is sitting there waiting and hoping and wishing and wanting and all that kind of stuff and waiting on them. And they're the ones that's doing all of this, behind their backs and all this kind of stuff. But my thing is, when I told it, I wasn't telling it for no type of revenge.
Right. She got up. Let me explain how she told it. She got up in front of hundreds of people in the church and on live. We were streaming and told this whole story.
I told him, now that is what you call telling transparency. I stood in front of the members that used to be under me.
Yeah, while we were not married.
I stood up in front of the congregation and told everything that happened.
As a visitor. She told as a visitor.
Yeah, I wasn't.
And won't the woman I was going to marry in the audience? Mm-mm. Oh, she wasn't in the audience? Okay, but I
Y'all
know
had
all the
broke
churches was watching. All the churches
Y'all
was
had broke
watching.
up then.
Yeah, but I was still over the churches.
Yeah.
That, and we've told this story before, but this platform is way bigger now. So a lot of you are hearing this for the first time, and I know you're probably like, oh, wow, but you need to be watching Reading Things My Way, and you do that by going to vimeo.com/ondemand/RTMW. Watch all the episodes tonight. A new one is dropping in about 2.5-3 hours. You need to be watching it. All right.
Yeah, but this is like and when I tell the story, I don't tell it to be vindictive. I tell it because it's my story.
And we ain't naming no names.
Right. So
I think he's still married.
Yes, and I wouldn't dare want to.
No, anybody doing that.
No,
that's the reason why I don't even tell my molester's name. The people that raped me and gave me that drink when I was young, a teenager. I don't even tell that, because I don't know what it will profit.
It don't profit.
It's like it'll cause a whole lot more mess, and I'm all right. I'm good. Yeah. Okay. Now. So after that happened, what ultimately happened? Mm-hmm. After all of that, we got back together.
2011.
We remarried.
Yes.
January the 11th, 2011.
Right.
And it was great.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
Ministry was great.
I mean,
booming. Then something happened. Something in me happened. And I always say, I always had a fear. I don't know why I had the fear, but from the first divorce, I always had a fear of putting my all back into something and then it just all be taken.
Well, that's why, because I broke your trust. I divorced you, and you would have never imagined that I would ever done anything like that. So I know you said I don't know why, but that was why, because I broke your trust, and it won't just me, the whole community deserted. Mm-hmm. So I get it.
Yeah, and so I remember when we moved to church here, and we started going online, and I always say I hate it.
Well, we didn't move to church here. We moved here.
You moved here.
Yeah, I moved here
because I was working still.
You were still working in North Carolina, so you would come here, however often.
Weekends.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we were more together than before, and the ministry in North Carolina, I moved it online as I built the ministry online here, but I would have some services here sometimes. We didn't move to church. Some people say that, and I didn't. I moved here, and some people decided to move behind me, but I didn't ask nobody to come here. Everybody said God told them to come to Atlanta too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we What happened? Okay, so I remember, and it was coming down to the end of me to get retired.
Yeah.
And mind you, all this time during ministry, I was always in and out. I was always in and out because I would either get deployed or I was stationed in Louisiana for 2 years. But it was like I was always here because every time we had any type of anything, I was able to leave because I had a leadership that understood that my family wasn't with me. So they was like, we'll just let you go.
And also, she wasn't the only one in and out because, Shamaka, if you watch the show, Shamaka and Latrice had their hand and our village at the time in helping us with the girls. I was in and out too, but I made a decision because I was preaching everywhere. I made a decision in 2009 to come off the road and just focus on building the main church. So I was more home with my girls than anything, all the way until not 2009, 2011. It was 2011. All the way until we divorced again. So it's really us. We always say 3 divorces. We've been saying that for years. But the reality is 2 divorces. Because one we thought we divorced, and they told us that they couldn't find the paperwork. But it's really just 2 divorces. Yeah. And so and I know some of you like, I'm a day one LRL, I done heard this, but there's so many thousand of you that have never heard this. You're new to the platform. And you're watching Reading Things My Way, and y'all in the comment section saying, okay, there's parts missing. What happened here? What happened here?
And even with us telling it now, I'm looking at the comments and I'm like, what?
Oh, you looking at comments?
Yeah, and somebody says, so I had the last child before. No, I was already pregnant with Zoe when we got
before we got
divorced the first time.
Right.
I was already pregnant with her. She was born in April. I was pregnant with her. When I get pregnant with her, it had to been.
You had it April 26th.
It had to been November. When I got pregnant.
No, you found out you were pregnant. You were overseas because you fell out.
I found out Reid wanted to say goodbye for the last time, and then I ended up finding out I was pregnant.
Yeah.
And then they had to send me back.
Yeah. But, so both of our children. Zara was born in 2004. Zoe was September 2004, and Zoe was born in April of 2007. We separated. We separated March 2007. That's when we separated. It was in March. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then she was born in April.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So the last time we got divorced, I already talked about this a lot, but let me see. I met the person, and the reason why I don't say their name either is because they have children.
Yeah. And a wife, and I think churches.
I'm talking about the last.
Oh,
person.
I say their name.
Don't say their name.
I ain't gonna say their name. We've already said it though.
We said it, but they have children, and their children are old enough to get online. I am very particular about that. Okay, unless you piss me off, then I may not care. But what happened with that is I met them at a Beyonce concert because I told Reid I want to go to a Beyonce concert. He was like, well, you need to go with somebody, but you need to go with somebody that, that know you but don't know you or something like that. And so
you were online we were talking about on the show.
Right.
And I think that's when they hooked up and told me, I'm going to come and go with you.
Right.
Yeah.
So they flew in. And we went to the concert, whatever. Long story short, we kept in contact, but it was because they were telling me that they was trying to divorce, whatever.
Their husband.
So they did. I think they divorced like in December or something like that. I don't remember. Mm-hmm. They divorced, and then Reid and I had a conversation before that. Reid was like,
November.
I just feel like I don't want to do this no more. I thought he was talking about.
Oh, that was in July.
Right. I thought you was talking about. I said, oh Lord, this man about to divorce me again. No, that was the first thought.
We was in Atlanta, and God was dealing with me about how changing my ministry. And so I was like, I was going through a change that was July. And then that was just the conversation I explained to her. I said, no, Lisa, it ain't that. And I said, if that ever came up, I'm going to still take care of you, and I'll still take care of the children. You ain't got, Lisa, why you, don't read them comments.
Okay.
And I said, you ain't never got to worry about that. But I did not know that sort of made you nervous.
It did.
Yeah.
It made me nervous. And then when I was like, okay, it's time for me to go retire. I was
and this
home.
was all 2015. This July 2015, November 16. 2000. That was July 2016, and then it was November 2016 when we separated. We had a conversation.
Yeah. And so I told Reid, I was like, you know what? I don't know what I want to do. And he was so supportive. He was like, oh, okay.
But listen, by that time, we were talking about ending and everything. We were
talking about anything.
Yeah, so it was more friends. So I was like, okay. And in my mind, I agree. Because I took you from your dad's house to my house. I went right into pastoring. And although you were doing 20 years in the military, you structured your life around what I was doing.
Right.
And I was always grinding. So in my mind, I'm like, she ain't had time to breathe. She ain't had time to figure out who she was or what. I know who I am. That's what I thought at the time. I already know who I am and what God called me to do, you know. So I was supportive. I think it was going to be a little space of time and that was going to be it. But right after we had that conversation 2 or 3 weeks later, I said, something is up.
Yeah.
We is not the same. I said, well, let me focus on having my own life. Yeah.
So me and the girls, we went to North Carolina because I was still stationed in Fort Bragg. So we went to North Carolina. I put them in school down there. And me and this person started talking more, like more, a lot.
I know because by blink and you was in Florida. I'm like, what the matter? I said, well, she's in Florida.
A lot.
But we were still talking. We didn't have no bad blood until this person really created bad blood because she put her hands on one of my children. And when she put her hands on my children, I'm like, I don't even know this chick like that. And Lisa didn't tell me. So I started.
I didn't tell you because I didn't know.
Yeah, that's a whole nother problem. So when the girls came back and told me on their visit, after that, it was hell. So that was the longest space of time me and Lisa ever went and did not talk.
Yeah.
No.
But that relationship was weird too because they too will always say, yep, you let Reid control you. You don't. And I was like, what? Every person that ever came in my life, when they always said that, I would be like, you really don't understand the dynamic of me and Reid's relationship because he never controlled me. And I don't know if it was because I seem very quiet and I seem but that's just the Army stealth mode of me. I'm not.
Or either they were looking at the fact. I mean, because you had I wasn't controlling, like, do that. But you sort of let my life control you. I mean, because it was my church. I started church. It was always, I had the choirs. I had all the music. And it was like you were supporting that. And that really took your whole life.
I wouldn't.
But I think they were probably trying to say it in the sense of, because I was always, so they thought I was like that with you and didn't know what I want.
Right. Yeah. But I'm going to say this is what I got out of it. Because there were times where I would always be like, why I never had any people to mentor me. Because I remember one time I was in prayer and I was told, don't ever, if it don't bother you, then don't let it bother. Don't let what other people don't let what things bother other people bother you. If it doesn't bother you, then it's not an issue for you. Mm-hmm. People was trying to put what bothered them about you on me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like if some of the things you say or some of the things, it just didn't bother me, but it bothered them. So they're like, why don't you, like, for instance, with the kids being with you instead of me. That didn't bother me, But when people will be like, your children need to be with you. You're the mother. You're the such. And so then I'll get by myself and I'll be like, you know what? I am the mama. They do need to be with me. And then there'll be a checking me. Did it bother you before they said that? And I think all the while, like that dream you had about my daddy, that all the while, something was trying to keep our relationship intact. And I know that you don't like combative. If I became a combative female, we probably would never be talking.
No.
So I did not combat you because I was fearful of that. It's just not in my nature to do that.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the thing. When I got into these other relationships, they will always want me to to come at you like that, and I'm like, why? I don't understand that. But a long time ago, in prayer, that's how our marriage, I think, worked, because for what we did in our marriage may bother some people. And I ain't talking about no stupid stuff. I'm just saying, like, you sleep on the floor and I sleep in the bed. Some people be like, oh, that's weird, that's strange. But I know that's how God talks to him. He slept on the floor.
How many years was that? I was on the floor for 20 years.
A long time.
Yeah.
And I didn't get on the floor with him. But it's just things that you need to know about. What I'm trying to say, whatever works for your relationship, you can't let outsiders try to come in and make it seem like it's something weird when you know it works for you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that person hated they hated that I was still talking to you. They wanted me to hate you. And I was like, I don't know. I can't do that. How can I do that?
I ain't never hated you. I didn't know what was going on. At that time after they left and I was transitioning the ministry and changing what I was doing, I've changed every way I was doing everything, and people thought I was crazy, my members. So they left.
Yeah.
And so I still had employees I had to pay, had all this debt from the ministry. I had to file bankruptcy for the second time, because we filed bankruptcy together. And then I had to file bankruptcy for the second time in March of 2017, I think it was. And that same month, I think you got divorced from that person. And married to that person. You got married to them.
We got married in June.
What was that same year?
Yeah, same year.
So that was, I was going through some changes. And when I asked you for help, because, when you in military, I'm not going to go over that story again, but it's on reading things my way. I think episode 2. So I'm going to let it go. But I knew you weren't totally gone when you called me in 2019 and you said, Reid, because by that time,
I was already fed up then. I think.
Yeah, by that time, because we went a while and the talking was spacey and just when the kids were visiting. But 2019 is like we started talking a little bit more. You were sneaking though. But right,
and let me pause. So I had went somewhere and I left my phone on the bed, and when I came back, they were like, "I thought you said you stopped talking to Reid." I said, "What are you talking about?" So they had went through my phone, and that was that day that you had said something slick.
Yeah, like I would.
Like something about sex or something. And I just said LOL, and she was like, we was flirting. I was like, oh.
But let me tell you what was funny though, because we had the app, like you said, Reid, I'm about to call you and tell you I'm done with you, ain't got nothing to say to you, and you just I don't mean nothing I'm about to say, but make sure you answer the phone. I said, all right, bet. And so then she comments about, so she doing it in front of us, and it wasn't even real. So, but I knew you weren't totally gone when you called about Exaria. Yeah. You said something is not right with it.
It was because they were gone away on a convention. So they weren't there. So I was home praying. That whole week, everything had busted up. So I had finally, because this person was always there. I mean, there. But And I thought that's what I wanted, because that's why I fell for it. They were always there. They were always, oh, you're such a great person.
So talented.
You're this, you're that, you're beautiful. All these things. And it felt great to have that. And my daughter told me the other day, she said, it was like y'all were like best friends. I said, I guess that's a good way to put it. Best friends.
Especially y'all won't eat each other out. That didn't make no sense. I said, now, I know what Lisa like. When we were married, she ain't like for me to go down there and eat that puss like that. So I know this don't make sense. This didn't make
Reid,
sense. And people didn't believe.
Everything is not about sex.
I'll be dog if it ain't.
It's not.
But that's how come it was so weird. Because I knew you. I said, I know how Lisa moves and says, I know what faces she make when she about to come. I know everything. Wow. So I'm like, and I know what she likes. She don't like that. How she can do that?
I'm confused.
What?
What is you talking about?
Because it did not make. I'm trying to tell you how crazy I thought you was. 'Cause I was like, how is this not? And then when I found out y'all money was together, we weren't operating like that. I was paying stuff. So I'm like, she's out of her mind. But when you called me to tell me that what you said about Exaria, to me you sounded like yourself, and I said, okay. And see, like 3 days that morning prior to that, I had a dream that my girls was at my house and on my thighs. Because they always like...
That was after my mama...
It was after that, yeah.
I came to myself after that.
Yeah, and I was laying on the floor, because those of you that do not know, I built this thing by my darn self. Outside, of course, the Lord's help and your help. But I was sleeping on, when I was going live on my show with that brick wall, what y'all did not know when that first started, I was sleeping on the floor of my studio trying to birth this vision. And I was laying on the floor, and I had a vision that there was coming around Dad, and they always lay on my thighs. And I told, at that time, Bishop Jordan was in my life, and I said, I had this vision. It's early in the day. I told Shamako, my kids is coming. I said, but I don't have no, I'm staying in a high-rise condos, 2-bedroom, but I don't have no room for them. If they're moving to the 3 bedrooms out here, it's going to be $3,900 a month. That's going to increase my rent by like $1,500 a month. I don't know how I'm going to do this. And you called. But I saw both. You said just Exaria, but then you called back and said, Zoe too. And they both came. And they was here within 2.5 weeks.
Yep.
And
because all of it had busted up. And I said to them, I said, well, I told you that I prayed. And I said, I don't know I said, I don't think you know who I am. That's what I told them. And so that day, I had took off work because I was like, we need to talk. I had took off work. And then they act like they was irritated that I had took off work because they were trying to probably go cheat.
Because that's what happened. Is that the girl cheated?
I'm trying to tell the story, but you keep butting in.
Slow. Go ahead on.
I'm going too slow.
I got to keep my covenant.
I'm gonna get you in your prayer time.
In the 8th hour.
Come on now. You keep cutting me off, and then
go ahead.
It don't make sense when you cut the corner.
All right, go ahead on.
Okay, so I took off work, so I was like, we need to talk, whatever. So we went to I think it was First Watch. Sat there, and all they was on was talking about this guy, how they wanted, them to be a mentor for the son, when the son already got a daddy, but okay. Mentor for the son, all this kind of stuff. So we talking. Get back to the house. I had to go and get my oil changed for my car. So I was leaving. I was halfway there. Something said, turn around. I want you to do, they told me to turn around, go back to the house. So I went back to the house. It said, put your phone under it was so specific.
It's always like that with you.
Put your phone under your pillow. Make sure you put it on airplane mode so it don't ring. I did that, put it under my pillow, and I left. When I came back, they were gone, of course. When I came back, I pressed play, and lo and behold, everything that I needed to know was on that recording. So found out she was cheating with this dude. I was mad about that because I was like, you know that I want. What do you mean? What do you mean? I want. That's the only reason why I think that they wanted me to marry, because they knew that I still like men. So they was like, okay, if you marry me, I know Lisa
is loyal,
a committed person, so
loyal.
she's married, she's not gonna cheat on me. I think that's what the thing it was. But anyway, I don't know what they was thinking, so I don't care. So they had no remorse. Yep, I did it. And I said, and I looked them in the face. I said, I don't think you know what I gave up to be here. I don't think you know. So when I started telling my friends about it, every last person that I called, which was validating to me, because I thought that I had just lost people. But when I told them, they wanted to fight her. Like literally, like where is she? Because we know that you're not this type person. Like, what is going on? And then a lot of them was relieved. Then when they heard me on the phone, like some of my friends or whatever, it was like, oh, you still sound like the same Lisa. I'm like, who I'm supposed to sound like? I mean, I didn't change. I just, so anyway, it was a lot. It was a lot. I was hurt. I felt like I had really failed myself and my children, because I never, now to hear them say things that had happened when I wasn't home because I was at work, it hurts me. And I'm just glad that I have the opportunity to recover from it, because it was a lot.
Yeah.
And no, we don't talk. And when I left, we parted our ways. That was it.
Yeah.
No more communication. Mm-hmm. That's what made me feel like it was just diabolical.
It was.
It
I'm gonna
was
tell you,
like,
I remember, at least I had so many visions. I wake up in the middle of the night speaking tongue. I went through a bout with suicide, which we're going to talk about on what's going to be coming up in the Patreon. You need to sign up and become a Patreon so you get all them stories. In 2017, I would have so many. I saw her sitting on you guys. I remember going in the spirit and have to push her off. So I knew it was going to end. So every time the girls would come, I said, "Baby, that thing your mama in, that's coming out." I said, "That's coming to the end. That ain't gonna be." So, and I know you guys have watched. I'm looking at some of the comments. Some of you like, I remember. Some person said they remember when
we was on together,
and they also remember when I was buying the girls stuff. Cause I was going live all the time. Mm-hmm. I was trying to get their beds. So you guys know. A lot of you know, but a lot of you don't know any of this. And I think we can stop here.
Yeah, I think so.
You need to become a part of Patreon. Go to patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. And doing that, you'll be in our exclusive group, and we talk about some of these stories, because we forget. There's so many stories. It'll just come up while we are live over there with our subscribers. And some things is also in Reading Things My Way. You can go to vimeo.com/ondemand/RTMW, or go to readingthingsmyway.tv and watch all of the episodes. And tonight, a new episode dropped. When you're going to hear a story.
When you hear that story tonight, just know I was young. I'm not the same anymore.
They know.
I can't believe I told that.
Yeah, I had forgot. I remember the story, but I had totally forgot. You can also find out, Oh, we did say we're going to do calls. I'm going to take a couple of calls.
Just 3.
Because I have to keep my covenant for 8 hours. 8 minutes in the 8 o'clock hour. So I'm going to have to end in time enough to be able to do that. Okay, so I'm going to take some calls. Here we go. Caller in and then 5118. What's your name? Where you calling from? You got 1 minute. Hello?
Caller in and then 5118. What's your name? Where you calling from? You got 1 minute.
All right, caller in and then 1710. What's your name? Where you calling from? You got 1 minute.
Hi, Larry. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
This is Toya calling from Fayetteville.
Hey.
Hey. So, okay, avid watcher. I love you guys both. And I know you're probably tired of hearing people always tell you guys like you should be together and things of that nature. But we clearly, the audience and the fans, we see the chemistry. So what I basically got from like listening to y'all tonight and watching the chemistry, I think when you get to a place where you, Larry, like you get to the platform that you desire, and I know, like, you know what I'm saying, you're going to always, once you obtain and get to a certain goal, you know what I'm saying, God will give you another vision to keep going. I think the issue is that you're dedicated to your hustle. And that's always been, you know what I mean, the kind of like, you know what I'm saying, the brick or the wall that's like, you know what I'm saying, kind of like been the issue a little bit. It keeps you guys apart. But I do believe like Lisa's your soulmate. And I don't know, I think that when you get to a place of like, this is where I want to be, like I'm ready to settle down, I've worked hard, I hustled, you know what I'm saying, now I want to sit back and enjoy it, you guys are going to get back together.
Okay, I'm not.
That's all I wanted to say.
I'm not going to refute that because I don't know what the future holds. And I've learned after living this long, is some stuff you just, you don't know, and that very well could be true. And
no, I get it because you guys, we're just watching it. You guys lived it and experienced it. You know what I'm saying? So y'all have a total different, like, you know what I'm saying, viewpoint on it. But from like just watching it from the outside, that's what I see. All right? I enjoy you guys.
Okay, thank you so much. All right. Lisa is stuck in them darn comments.
I mean, you was in front of your face.
No, I'm not looking at the comments though. They're just to monitor the broadcast.
I heard what she said.
Oh, okay. Okay, I don't know why. I think this thing is cutting out the rest of the calls. I can't answer but one, but that's good anyway. I need to go get ready for prayer. If you are a part of our subscriber base, you know all of what we do over there. Out here is entertainment, but then there's empowerment and education. You need to become a part of Patreon. Our story, there's like 5 other stories in the people's lives connected to us that will probably minister to you, empower you, and educate you. So go to patreon.com/Larry Reid Live and become a patron. You'll be able to watch all the episodes free, even the one that come up on tonight, and anything else that we do, and all my team of experts that come over there. We just had one to stop. Mark, you need to go over there and watch that. We had some other things going on. I was up there this morning, I think. Yesterday morning? It was this morning, wasn't it? It was this morning?
This morning.
About praying in tongues?
It wasn't this morning.
Yes, it was. Y'all won't own it. It was.
What time?
About 9. This morning? Yeah, this morning. I think it was this morning. And somebody that's a patron tell me. I think it was this morning.
I was up.
Yeah, they said it was this morning. You weren't up. You missed it.
You did it live?
Alive in the Patreon.
Oh.
You need to go back and watch it. It was really good. And I prayed with them. Yeah, I prayed with them. We prayed in tongues as a group. Yeah, we did.
Oh, no.
You got to go back and watch that. It was our goodness.
You can see everybody, or was it just you?
It was Larry. But I was talking to them on the live, like normal. Yeah, it was this morning. I sent like 2 days ago. Boy, this day's been going by so darn quick. Somebody said, yes, it was this morning. Yes, it was this morning. All right. Okay. Thank you so much for watching. I am on vacation. I come back.
Reid.
I come back officially March the 22nd, but the production made us come in here tonight to give y'all the part that you don't know nothing about. So make sure you watch the show tonight. It's going to be really good. Take a moment and sign up to Patreon. Here's the video to tell you how. See you later.
Stay connected to Larry Reid Live. Take a moment and like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube page, and hit the bell. Text Larry Reid Live to 33222. That's the words Larry Reid Live, no spaces, to 33222, and get notified when we go live. Become a member of Patreon today by logging on to patreon.com/Larry Reid Live. Download the Patreon app and turn on your notifications. Get connected today.